All right. So if you watch the last two videos I left in this account, assuming they weren't censored yet, keep in mind YouTube is pretty slow to doing this. Granted, nothing should be censored because freedom of speech should exist and all those other things I always rattle off, but people don't understand that. Um, Not all Jews are bad. And I say this often because it's true. What you could think of to parallel where I'm going with this, and I'm being pretty vague about it, but you could watch the last two videos and use your brain. I mean, and anybody who's truly invested in doing the right thing would probably do something along these lines, but you and I aren't surrounded by smart people. So, think of Freemasonry, think of any secret society or a boys' club, superficially speaking, because there's quite a few. And these are low level bastards who aren't taught a goddamn thing. But there are people pulling their strings, which is why these systems of control are in place to make them feel like the people who are part of these secret societies, to make them feel like they're above, a cut above you and I. I'm assuming you're not part of this garbage. I mean, I'm certainly not. I wouldn't bother with it. You're not going to learn anything anyway. You're going to be taught even more, systems of control and corruptions. Um, and yeah, it's just a bunch of garbage. The point is somebody's pulling the strings of each one of these respective, secret societies. Another example would be if you digest, music, movies, books, etc., but in particular, if you focus on Hollywood and the programming, there's a disproportionate amount of people with Ashkenazi blood who are in the business, controlling the business on your television sets, and the list goes on. It's quite literally hidden in plain sight, but people will still, dress up any bad word said about what I just said, or any bad words said about the topic at hand, as, being anti-Semitic. I mean, it's something you could observe and prove is obviously a red flag. It's the opposite of what kids have been spoon-fed and urged to repeat, having to do with diversity. And it has always been like that in Hollywood. And this is a superficial example. The other example is my crummy example having to do with secret societies. And you can look into who finances those and who is pulling the strings. You can follow the money to a point. It's getting harder and harder to do that because the internet's being locked down, society's being locked down because the goal is control. Our masters are tightening the noose. You and I do have masters, and a small majority of families having to do with these bloodlines that I'm referring to are pulling our strings. But you're told that you're not supposed to talk about stuff like that because that's bad. That's a hate speech now because that's a censorship campaign. It's absurd. Freedom of speech should exist. And it would exist if you and I were surrounded by smart people. Freedom of speech does not exist, which suggests what? What the fuck do I know?